Episode 17, The 11th Hour. The conference room at Morrison Blackwood had the hollow, desperate atmosphere of a war room at dawn. Coffee cups multiplied on every surface, documents spread across the mahogany table in organized chaos, and the glow of laptop screens cast harsh shadows on tired faces. Alex dropped into a chair beside Marcus, her mind already racing through possibilities. Richard stood at the head of the table, reading glasses perched on his nose as he reviewed a thick stack of papers. Julia submitted 473 pages to the Bar Standards Board, Richard said without preamble. Elizabeth and I have been reviewing them since 3 this morning. It's comprehensive. Comprehensively fabricated, Elizabeth added, her normally composed features tight with anger. But professionally done. Whoever helped her prepare this knew exactly what they were doing. Sophie looked up from her laptop, dark circles under her eyes. I've been analyzing the digital forensics. The forged emails use genuine Morrison Blackwood metadata, server timestamps, routing information, everything. Someone gave her access to your actual email architecture to create convincing fakes. How is that possible? Marcus asked. I thought you'd secured the systems after Rebecca. We did. Sophie's jaw tightened. Which means Julia either had access before we locked everything down, or someone inside gave her what she needed recently. Natasha was on her phone, typing rapidly. The media's already picking up the story. Prominent barrister faces professional misconduct hearing. They don't have details yet, but they will by noon. Alex forced herself to focus past the exhaustion and fear. Walk me through the evidence. What exactly is she claiming? Richard slid a summary document across to her. The accusations fall into 5 categories. First, that you deliberately delayed the Thornton prosecution to benefit Marcus financially. Apparently, he has investments that would be affected by the case outcome. I don't have any investments in Thornton's companies, Marcus said immediately. We know that, but Julia's fabricated bank statements showing transfers from Thornton-affiliated accounts to yours, then from yours to Alex. The paper trail is sophisticated. It'll take our forensic accountants days to prove it's fake. We don't have days, Alex said quietly. We have 2.5 hours. Elizabeth continued reading from her own notes. Second, she claims you've been having an inappropriate relationship with a witness in the Thornton case, specifically Marcus, who treated one of Thornton's victims and could potentially testify. Marcus was never listed as a potential witness, Alex protested. No, but Julia's created medical records suggesting he should have been. Falsified consultation notes, the works. Elizabeth's expression was grim. Third, she alleges you disclosed privileged client information to Marcus on multiple occasions, citing specific dates, times, and locations where you supposedly discussed case details. Alex felt Marcus's hand find hers under the table, squeezing gently. Fourth, Richard said, she claims you deliberately sabotaged Sarah Winter's career by falsely accusing her of the Chambers leak, knowing she was innocent, to cover your own misconduct. That's insane, Natasha interjected. Sarah was cleared completely. The Bar Standards Board doesn't know that context, Elizabeth said. Julia's framed it as Alex using her position to bully a junior colleague. And fifth, Alex asked, though she wasn't sure she wanted to know. Fifth, Richard said heavily, she alleges you've been suffering from severe psychological stress that's impaired your professional judgment, citing the stalking incidents, your relationship with Marcus, and claiming you've been making increasingly erratic decisions. She's included statements from anonymous colleagues expressing concern about your mental state. The room fell silent. Alex stared at the summary, feeling the walls closing in. It's a masterpiece of character assassination, Elizabeth said quietly. Every accusation is designed to make you look either corrupt, incompetent, or unstable. Even if we disprove some of it, the overall picture is damaging. Then we disprove all of it, Marcus said firmly. What do we have? Sophie turned her laptop around. I can prove the emails are fabricated. I've documented the metadata manipulation, the digital signatures that don't match genuine Morrison Blackwood protocols. But it's technical. The Bar Standards Board panel might not understand the nuances. We have bank records showing no transfers between Marcus and Alex, Richard added, and between Marcus and any Thornton entities. But proving a negative is always harder than proving a positive. What about Julia herself? Natasha asked. We have her confession on tape. She admitted everything. She's recanting, Elizabeth said. Her solicitor filed papers this morning claiming she was under duress, that she only confessed because she was exhausted and frightened. She's now saying Rebecca Chen manipulated her too, that she's another victim. Alex felt something cold settle in her chest. She's going to walk away from this, isn't she? Even after everything. Not if we can prove she fabricated evidence and submitted it to the Bar Standards Board, Richard said. That's a serious criminal offense. But we need time to build that case, and time is what we don't have. Marcus leaned forward. What if we focus on motive? Julia's obsession with me, the 2 years she spent planning this. We can show the Bar Standards Board that this is a vendetta, not legitimate professional concern. We'd need to explain why she's obsessed with you. Elizabeth pointed out, which means revealing your past relationship, however brief it was. Are you prepared for that scrutiny? Marcus met Alex's eyes. If it helps Alex, yes, absolutely. Sophie was typing rapidly. I'm pulling Julia's digital footprint, social media, online activity, everything. If she's been researching Alex or Marcus obsessively, it'll show. She's too smart for that, Alex said. She's a psychiatrist. She knows how to cover her tracks. Everyone makes mistakes, Sophie countered, especially when they're emotionally invested. Richard checked his watch. It's 6:45. The hearing is at 9. We need a strategy. Alex stood, pacing to the window. Dawn was breaking over London, painting the Thames in shades of gold and rose. Below, the city was waking, people heading to work, living their normal lives, unaware that hers was falling apart. We tell the truth, she said finally, turning back to the room. All of it. We explain the stalking, Rebecca's conspiracy, Julia's involvement. We show them this isn't about professional misconduct. It's about a disturbed woman's obsession. That's risky, Elizabeth warned. It makes you look like you've been in crisis, which feeds into Julia's narrative about your impaired judgment. I have been in crisis, Alex said. Someone's been trying to destroy my life for months. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But I've maintained my professional standards throughout. My cases haven't suffered, my clients haven't been harmed, and I've never, ever disclosed privileged information. Natasha nodded slowly. It's authentic. The panel will respond to honesty. We need witness statements, Richard said, making notes. Clients confirming you've represented them competently, colleagues attesting to your professionalism. We need to counter Julia's anonymous sources with real names and faces. I'll handle that, Elizabeth said. I can have statements by 8:30. I'll prepare a timeline, Sophie offered, showing when Rebecca's conspiracy started, when Julia got involved, how it all connects. Visual aids help. Marcus squeezed Alex's hand again. What do you need from me? Your medical records, Alex said. Proof you never treated anyone connected to the Thornton case. And your financial records, complete transparency. If we're going to accuse Julia of fabricating evidence, we need to prove our evidence is real. Done. I'll call my accountant now. The next 2 hours passed in a blur of frantic activity. Elizabeth drafted witness statements and sent them to colleagues via email, receiving responses within minutes. Everyone at Morrison Blackwood rallying to defend one of their own. Sophie created a detailed presentation showing the digital forensics, the fabricated emails, the manipulation of metadata. Richard prepared opening remarks that framed the situation clearly. This was a vendetta, not legitimate professional concern. Alex reviewed her own case files from the past 6 months, documenting every client interaction, every court appearance, every professional decision. The record was spotless. Whatever chaos had consumed her personal life, she'd kept her work pristine. At 8:15, Marcus returned from his apartment with boxes of financial documents. 10 years of tax returns, bank statements, investment records, everything. There's nothing connecting me to Thornton or his companies. Thank you, Alex said, and meant it. He was exposing his entire financial life for her, trusting her with information most people guarded jealously. At 8:30, Richard's phone rang. He listened for a moment, his expression darkening, then thanked the caller and hung up. That was Gerald Pemberton, he said, Julia's solicitor. He wants to meet before the hearing. Says Julia has a final offer. Alex felt exhaustion crash over her. Another ultimatum? He didn't say, but he wants to meet at the Starbucks near the Bar Standards Board office at 8:45. Marcus stood. It's a trap. She's trying to rattle you before the hearing. Probably, Alex agreed. But I need to know what she's offering. If there's any chance to resolve this without the hearing. You don't negotiate with terrorists, Natasha said firmly. She's not a terrorist. She's a desperate woman who's made terrible choices and is now looking for an exit. Alex grabbed her coat. I'm going. Marcus, come with me. Everyone else, keep preparing. If this goes nowhere, we proceed as planned. The Starbucks was crowded with morning commuters, the air thick with coffee steam and hurried conversation. Alex spotted Gerald Pemberton immediately, a thin man in his 50s with nervous energy and an expensive suit. Julia sat beside him, looking composed in a navy dress and pearls, every inch the professional psychiatrist. Alex and Marcus slid into the opposite seats. No one spoke for a moment. Thank you for coming, Gerald said finally. Dr. Hartwell has instructed me to make a final offer. I'm listening, Alex said, keeping her voice neutral. Julia leaned forward, her dark eyes intense. I'll withdraw everything. The evidence, the accusations, all of it. I'll tell the Bar Standards Board I made a mistake, that I was suffering from stress and misinterpreted innocent situations. I'll take full responsibility. In exchange for what? Marcus asked, his tone sharp. Julia's gaze shifted to him. In exchange for you ending your relationship with Alexandra, publicly, today, before the hearing. Alex felt Marcus tense beside her. You want him to humiliate me, Alex said quietly, to make it look like he's choosing his reputation over me. I want him to be honest about what this relationship is, Julia corrected. A temporary infatuation that's caused nothing but problems. He's a surgeon, Alexandra. His career depends on his reputation. How long do you think he'll stay once the novelty wears off and he realizes what being with you costs him? That's not your decision to make, Marcus said, his voice dangerous. Isn't it? Julia smiled, sad and knowing. I've spent 2 years watching you, Marcus. I know your patterns. You get bored. You move on. You're already thinking about it, aren't you? How much easier life would be without all this drama. You don't know anything about me, Marcus said, but Alex saw something flicker in his eyes. Not doubt about his feelings, but awareness of the truth in Julia's words. His past was his past. He had been that person. The offer expires at 9, Gerald said, checking his watch. That's 20 minutes. If you don't accept, Dr. Hartwell proceeds with her evidence and we'll let the Bar Standards Board decide. Alex studied Julia's face, seeing the desperation beneath the composed exterior. This woman had spent 2 years planning revenge, had manipulated Rebecca, had fabricated hundreds of pages of evidence, and now she was offering to throw it all away for one thing, Marcus's public rejection of Alex. Why? Alex asked. Why does this matter so much to you? Julia's composure cracked slightly. Because you don't deserve him. You don't even see him, not really. You see a trophy, a prize you won. I see who he actually is. I see his potential, his brilliance, everything he could be if he wasn't wasting himself on someone who will never truly appreciate him. You're in love with him, Alex said, understanding flooding through her. This whole thing, it's not about revenge. It's about love. Don't psychoanalyze me, Julia snapped. I'm not. I'm just seeing you clearly for the first time. Alex reached across the table, and Julia flinched back. You can't make someone love you by destroying their relationship. That's not how it works. I know that, Julia said, and for a moment she looked utterly broken. But I can make sure you don't have him either. If I can't be happy, why should you be? The words hung in the air, ugly and honest. Marcus stood. We're done here. Alex, let's go. But Alex remained seated, studying Julia. What happened to you? What made you like this? Julia laughed, bitter and sharp. You want my trauma? Fine. I was engaged once, 5 years ago. He left me 3 days before the wedding for my best friend. Told me he'd never really loved me, that he'd been settling. I spent 2 years in therapy recovering, and then I met Marcus at that engagement party, and for one night I felt something again. Hope, possibility, and then he ghosted me. I didn't ghost you, Marcus said. I was honest that I wasn't looking for a relationship. You slept with me and disappeared, Julia corrected. You made me feel special, and then you made me feel worthless. Again. Alex felt an unexpected surge of sympathy. So you decided to destroy me to punish him. I decided to show him what real consequences feel like, Julia said. to make him understand what it's like to lose something you care about. Gerald cleared his throat. The offer stands. 15 minutes now. Alex looked at Marcus. His jaw was tight, his eyes hard. But she saw the guilt there too, the awareness that his careless behavior 2 years ago had contributed to this disaster. No, Alex said finally. We don't accept. Julia's face went white. You're willing to risk everything? I'm willing to fight for what matters, Alex said. And what matters is the truth. You're in pain, Julia. I understand that, but destroying my career won't heal you. It'll just add to the damage you've already done to yourself. The Bar Standards Board will believe me, Julia said desperately. My evidence is perfect. You can't disprove all of it in time. Maybe not, Alex agreed, but I can tell my truth and trust that it's enough. She stood Marcus beside her. They walked out of the Starbucks together, leaving Julia and Gerald at the table. Outside, Marcus pulled her into an alcove. Are you sure about this? We could have ended it right there. By sacrificing our relationship? That's not an ending, Marcus. That's giving her exactly what she wants. Alex touched his face. I love you. I'm not walking away because someone demands it. I love you too, he said and kissed her. Let's go face the firing squad. They walked the 3 blocks to the Bar Standards Board building in silence, hands clasped. At 8:55, they rode the elevator to the 7th floor where the hearing would take place. Richard, Elizabeth, Sophie, and Natasha were waiting in the corridor. They all looked exhausted but determined. Ready? Richard asked. Alex took a deep breath. Ready. The hearing room was smaller than she'd expected, a conference room with a long table where 3 panel members sat, reviewing documents. Julia was already there with Gerald, looking composed again. Her moment of vulnerability in the coffee shop apparently forgotten. The panel chair, a woman in her 60s named Margaret Winters, looked up as they entered. Ms. Morrison, thank you for attending. Please take a seat. Alex sat, Marcus beside her, Richard on her other side. Elizabeth and Sophie took seats behind them, Natasha in the back row. Margaret shuffled papers. This is a preliminary hearing to review allegations of professional misconduct brought by Dr. Julia Hartwell. Dr. Hartwell, you submitted 473 pages of evidence. That's extensive. I felt it necessary to be thorough, Julia said smoothly. Indeed. Margaret looked at Alex. Ms. Morrison, you've had less than 3 hours to review these allegations. We're prepared to adjourn and reschedule if you need more time to prepare your defense. Alex met her eyes. Thank you, but that won't be necessary. I'm ready to respond now. Margaret raised an eyebrow. Very well, let's begin. What followed was 3 hours of the most intense professional scrutiny Alex had ever experienced. The panel questioned her about every aspect of the allegations. Her relationship with Marcus, her handling of the Thornton case, her behavior during the stalking crisis, her treatment of Sarah Winters. Alex answered every question honestly, holding nothing back. She explained Rebecca's conspiracy, Julia's involvement, the fabricated evidence. She presented Sophie's digital forensics showing the manipulated emails. She provided Marcus's financial records, proving no connection to Thornton. She submitted witness statements from colleagues attesting to her professionalism. Julia countered every point, her responses polished and professional. She expressed concern for Alex's well-being, suggested the stalking had affected Alex's judgment, questioned whether Alex's relationship with Marcus had clouded her professional ethics. It was masterful character assassination disguised as compassionate concern. At noon, Margaret called a recess. We'll deliberate and reconvene at 2 with our decision. In the corridor, Alex slumped against the wall. I can't tell which way it went. You were brilliant, Marcus said. You told the truth. That has to count for something. Truth doesn't always win, Elizabeth said quietly. Not when it's competing against well-crafted lies. They found a nearby cafe and ordered food no one ate. The 2 hours crawled by, each minute an eternity. At 1:45, they walked back to the building. At 2 o'clock precisely, they filed back into the hearing room. Margaret's expression was unreadable. We've reviewed all the evidence presented, she said, and we've reached a decision. Alex felt Marcus's hand find hers under the table. The allegations against Miss Morrison are serious and troubling, Margaret continued. However, after careful consideration, we find that the evidence presented by Dr. Hartwell is inconsistent with the evidence presented by Ms. Morrison and her colleagues. The digital forensics particularly raised questions about the authenticity of several key documents. Alex felt hope flare. However, Margaret said, and the hope died. We also find that Ms. Morrison's conduct during this period raises concerns about her professional judgment. While we don't find evidence of deliberate misconduct, we question whether she maintained appropriate boundaries between her personal and professional life. What does that mean? Richard asked. It means we're issuing a formal warning, Margaret said. Ms. Morrison, you're directed to undergo a professional ethics review and to participate in continuing education regarding professional boundaries. This warning will remain on your record for 2 years. If there are any further complaints during that period, this matter will be reopened and could result in suspension or disbarment. Alex felt the words hit like physical blows. Not vindication. Not dismissal. A warning that would shadow her career for years. Additionally, Margaret continued, we're referring Dr. Hartwell's evidence to the Crown Prosecution Service for investigation of potential fabrication. If the CPS determines that evidence was falsified, Dr. Hartwell may face criminal charges. Julia's face went pale. This hearing is concluded, Margaret said. Ms. Morrison, you're free to continue practicing. Dr. Hartwell, you'll be hearing from the CPS shortly. They filed out in silence. In the corridor, Julia approached them, Gerald hovering nervously behind her. I'm sorry, Julia said, and she sounded like she meant it. I went too far. I see that now. You tried to destroy my career, Alex said flatly. Sorry doesn't cover it. I know. Julia's eyes filled with tears. I was so angry, so hurt. I convinced myself you deserved it. But you were right in the coffee shop. I need help. Real help. Then get it, Marcus said. And stay away from us. Julia nodded and walked away, Gerald following. She looked smaller somehow, diminished. Alex turned to her friends. I have a formal warning on my record. That's not nothing. It's not disbarment, Richard said firmly. You'll recover from this, Alex. Your career isn't over. It's tainted, Alex said. Everyone will know. Every opposing counsel will use it against me. Let them try, Natasha said fiercely. You're Alexandra Morrison. You've faced down stalkers and conspiracies and corrupt psychiatrists. You can handle some gossip. Alex felt tears threatening and blinked them back. I'm so tired. Then go home, Sophie said gently. Rest, recover. We'll handle everything else. Marcus wrapped an arm around her. Come on, let's get out of here. They took a taxi back to Alex's flat in Southwark. Inside, Alex collapsed onto the sofa, every muscle suddenly aching with exhaustion. Marcus sat beside her, pulling her close. You survived. Barely, Alex said. I have a warning on my record, Marcus. That's going to follow me forever. 2 years, he corrected, and then it's gone. You can rebuild. Can I? She looked up at him. Julia was right about one thing. Being with me comes at a cost. Your reputation took hits because of me. Your past got exposed. The medical council scrutinized you. Is this really what you want? Marcus cupped her face in his hands. Alex, look at me. Yes, this is exactly what I want. You're what I want. Not despite the complications, but including them, because you're worth it. How can you be sure? Because I've never felt this way before, he said simply. With anyone. Ever. Julia was right that I had patterns. I did get bored. I did move on. But that was before I met someone who challenges me, who sees me, who makes me want to be better than I was. Alex felt tears spill over. I'm so scared of losing you. You won't, he promised. I'm not going anywhere. He kissed her, gentle and reassuring, and she kissed him back, pouring all her exhaustion and fear and love into it. They moved to the bedroom, shedding clothes along the way, and made love with desperate tenderness, an affirmation of survival, of choice, of commitment, despite everything trying to tear them apart. Afterward, they lay tangled together, Alex's head on Marcus's chest, listening to his heartbeat. What happens now? She asked. Now we rest, Marcus said. And tomorrow we start rebuilding, together. Alex closed her eyes, feeling the first real peace she'd experienced in months. They'd survived. Not unscathed. She had a warning on her record. Marcus's past was public knowledge. Their reputations were damaged. But they'd survived together. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She ignored it. It buzzed again and again. With a sigh, Alex reached for it. 7 missed calls from Richard, 3 from Elizabeth, 12 texts from Sophie. She opened Sophie's messages, dread building. Alex, call me immediately. Something's happened. It's about Julia. She's dead. Alex, Julia Hartwell is dead. They found her an hour ago. The police are calling it suicide. But there's a note and it mentions you. Alex, please call me. This isn't over. Alex sat up, the phone slipping from her numb fingers. Marcus was already reaching for his own phone, reading similar messages. No, Alex whispered. No, this can't be happening. But it was. Julia Hartwell was dead. And somehow, impossibly, Alex knew this was just the beginning of something even worse.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.